Hi guys, thanks for joining in. Hope you had a great Monday. Hi Yolanda. I am on early tonight because I have a prior engagement, so I had to jump on early tonight. Hey Teresa. So I thank you guys for coming in. Hi Fruitful, thank you for joining in. We're gonna have to do a quick scope tonight. I don't want to be on any longer than 30 minutes. Hey Teresa. So I thank you guys for being able to come in. Gonna make it a quick scope tonight, but I just wanted to come on and talk about this subject real quick tonight. If you guys can just invite your followers and share this on Twitter. And we're going to talk about soulmate versus life partner. And Yolanda, I read your comment about the life partner. And that really hadn't crossed my mind until you mentioned it. Yeah, you know what? That truly did not cross my mind. And when I read your comment about life partner being connected with the LGBT community, then, it kind of came full circle to me. But hey, Kelly. Yes, guys, tap that screen and show some hearts. The more hearts you give, the easier it is for me to be found. I hope you're doing good, Kel. The reason why I entered this subject, soulmate versus life partner, one of the ladies in the group sent me an article, and I'm looking at the screen because I'm going to. That's good, Kelly. I'm going to touch on some of the points that was in the article that I read about the 5 differences between a soulmate and a life partner. Initially, when she first sent it to me and I saw soulmate versus life partner, the first thing came to my mind was I'm not looking for a soulmate, because what I found in studying soul ties, our souls can be tied to more than one person. So if I'm looking for someone to grow with and to spend the rest of my life with, I'd prefer it be a life partner instead of a soulmate. And in the article, the young lady, she describes 5 differences between a soulmate and a life partner. But one of the huge difference is that she talked about was the soul connection. And we all know, well, I take that back. I won't say we all know, but some of us do know and understand that soulmate can come in many different forms. It does not have to come in the form of a spouse. A soulmate can be masked as friends, family members. A soulmate can be masked as a lover. Hey, Linda. So when you think of soulmate, a lot of people I hear say, oh, I want to find my soulmate, or I hope my soulmate finds me. And when I hear that, I really think about, do you really understand that your soul can be tied to more than one person? And until you understand what a soul tie is, most people don't understand that. They think that when they found their soulmate, they found the person that they're going to spend the rest of their lives with. And that's not necessarily so. And one of the things that the young lady talked about in the article was how a soulmate comes in and they're pretty much on assignments. Your life partner is not on assignment. A life partner is there to enrich your life. Yolanda, I think you said it best when you said a helpmate. And that's pretty much how she described a life partner, just as the Bible described a helpmate. So I think that when we are in a place where we're ready to settle down and ready to spend our lives with someone, we need to really be careful and conscious about what a soulmate truly is and how a soulmate, there's that deep connection. Yes, our version of a soulmate really is very different. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this subject, because, most people think of a soulmate as someone that they're just going to, if that person leaves, they're going to just die. Or they think that a soulmate is someone that they're going to have in their lives forever. But when you're talking about your souls being attached to someone else, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's your soulmate, because your soul can be attached to someone who is going to wreak havoc and bring destruction and turmoil into your life. And I don't think that many people truly understand that. And that's what comes in when you are connected to people that you're not supposed to be connected to. When your souls are tied to someone that you're not supposed to be tied to. You can have a soulmate who is coming in on assignment in your life. You may have a vision and they are there to just destroy whatever vision that you have. Yes, like the lady in the t-shirt. Oh my God. I mean, Yolanda, I'm not even gonna get on that subject. But you've got a soul tie with a person that you don't necessarily, you're not supposed to be with. And when you have that tie with someone who has come in to just destroy you, is that really what you want as a soulmate? And you're thinking that you have this deep connection with this person. And a lot of times that deep connection is connected to sex. And you think it's the best sex that you ever had, so this is your soulmate, which is a lie straight from the pit of hell. Because that's not what is supposed to connect you to that person. I mean, sex is a big part of it. But when we're talking about spending your life with someone, we have to be very careful of what, yes, Linda, the pit. We have to be careful of what we say out of our mouths. Our words can bring destruction to us. And when she talked about that soul connection, that thing just really brought back soul ties to me. And how that person can bring turmoil in your life. That relationship is so intense, and people think because it's so intense that that's your soulmate. Well, I'm pretty sure that some of us have been in some relationships that have been very intense, and we're thinking that this is the person we're supposed to be with for the rest of our lives. That was not it. So we have to get to a point where we understand the difference between a soulmate and a life partner. With a soulmate, you think there's this real deep attraction. You just feel like you're going to just crack if this person is not with you. And most of those relationships are chaotic and they're destructive. And I say that because I know I've been there. I've been with someone who, in my mind, I thought was my soulmate. Very intense relationship. I mean, But that relationship brought a lot of destruction to my life. It brought a lot of turmoil in my life. And not just my life, but his life also. Yes. And that was not my life partner. I learned a lesson from that relationship. So do I regret it? No, because something great did come out of it. It brought me to where I am today. But I spent many, many, many years thinking that this person, sex outside of marriage is very damaging. And that's the part that we need to understand. Because sex outside of marriage, you're connecting your soul with another person. Not only are you connecting your soul with another person, but you're connecting your soul with every other person that they have been with, and them to every person that you've been with. So we have to be very careful when it comes to soulmates and life partners. And like I was saying, that relationship was destructive for the both of us. It was destructive on my end. It was destructive on his end. But we were in a relationship thinking that we were supposed to be together for the rest of our lives. And that's just not what God had planned for us. That relationship was chaotic. It was very destructive. But I'm glad that the Lord blessed me with it, because had he not, then I wouldn't have had the understanding that I have about soul ties. So now I'm in a place where I understand that you cannot allow yourself to be connected to everybody. I understand now the importance of saving yourself until marriage. Yes, and there's a lot of us who are still stuck there. So it's very important that we're saving ourselves. It's important that we're teaching our young girls to save themselves until marriage. Because we can't just go and say, hey, you know what? Don't have sex. Because the word said that's a sin. Well, you might as well tell them, well, go ahead on out there and have sex. What you need to be explaining is the spiritual consequences to the action of having sex outside of marriage. That's what we need to be doing. And we're not having those conversations. If we're not transparent in having those conversations and saying, you know what? I understand the urges that you're having. I've been there. But this is what happens when you have sex outside of marriage. Yes, and we need to be explaining this to them, and we need to be transparent about it. I had children out of wedlock. I was in relationships that were very damaging to me. I was in abusive relationships. Not just pregnancy disease too, Linda, exactly. That's a big thing now. And we need to be transparent about that thing. We need to be transparent about it so that they understand that this is not us just saying, don't do this because it's a sin, but this is us saying that don't do it. It's a sin, and there is a spiritual consequence to the action that you take by laying down with someone who is not your husband or your wife. Not only will it bring disease, not only will it bring pregnancy, but it'll bring a whole lot of other things to you that you're not ready for, nor do you want. Yes, it'll save a lot of pain in the end. You have people who are tied to other people who have never. Emotional bondage is a big thing, because I was in emotional bondage for almost 20 years to a person that I had no business being tied to. But when you have soul ties, you not only tie yourself to that person, but you're picking up characteristics, things that you never thought you would do. You have people who are become alcoholics, addicted to drugs, lying, stealing. I mean, you name it. Those are consequences to that sin. And then you wonder why it takes you 10, 15, 20 years to break free, because we're not teaching them that this is the consequence. And I have been there too, addicted to a person. And I mean, that relationship was really like, it was like a drug habit. The spiritual part is more deadly. It's way more deadly. And I didn't understand it. I was in my 30s before I understood that. So this is why I'm always advocating and saying that we have to be transparent. That was a good one. I think some of us, a lot of us have had enough sex until Jesus comes back that we shouldn't want any. But the thing is, we have to be transparent. And I don't know, I think a lot of times we are ashamed and we don't want to be transparent and we don't want to share. Yes, if that's all they have to offer, I'm good too. I'm good. I mean, I need more than that. I need somebody that I need more than that. I'm good over here. But I think with our young, we just have to be more transparent. We have to be able to teach them the differences between a soulmate and a life partner. They need to understand that their soul can be tied to many. But if they're looking for someone to spend their life with, then they should be looking for or waiting on what God has for them. And this is the mistake that we make. Yeah, we make this mistake so often. Some of my children's friends, they're like, your mom, they tell my kids, your mom, she's so open and she don't care what she say. No, I really don't care what I say because you need to hear it. Sometimes my delivery may not be that great, but that's just me. I'm straight and I just give it to you the way it's supposed to be given, which is real because that's all I know. And I do it because of where I've been. And if I can prevent someone from going down that same road, then I'm all in. I'm all in. There's nothing about me that anybody can say or come back to my kids and say, well, your mom used to do this. And they're going to be like, yeah, we know. She told us. She tell everybody. Sometimes I don't have a filter, but I'm okay with that. You know, Yolanda, you got a point, and it's pretty sad. But I think a lot of people take marriage for a joke because of the examples that are set before them, which is a sad thing, but it's true and it's real. I can look back and I don't recall too many. Well, shoot, I probably can count on one hand, good examples of a marriage that I grew up seeing. No, it's still not right, but it's what it is. I didn't see good marriages. So as I grew, I never really expected to get married. It wasn't something that I really wanted because looking at the people in my family, if that was the example of what marriage was, then why would I want any part of that? I didn't want any part of that. It just was not appealing to me. Now at 42, and I have a better understanding of marriage and I have a better relationship with God, then that's something that I desire now. But before, no, I didn't want to be married. I mean, I look at the women in my family and I'm like, God, if this is what marriage is, why in the world would I want that? I don't want that. And that's what I used to say. That is not what I want. If I got to deal with that, I don't want it. But that was before I understood me not going out and picking my own partner. Yeah, see, and that was something that I had to understand. I had to understand that these weren't men that God chose for them. These were men that these women chose for themselves. And that's why there was a lot of havoc in their marriages. God didn't send that man. And when I understood that God had someone for me, and if I just continue to do what He's telling me to do, ungodly soul ties will kill you. They are past damaging. Ungodly soul ties will give you a slow spiritual death. They will kill you. And I had to understand that I wasn't to be looking for my husband, that he would find me. So when I got an understanding of that, then my thought process towards marriage changed. So that's one of the reasons why I say, we have to be open and honest, because some of these kids nowadays, they don't have great examples. You know, I can say for my two children, in the beginning as a mother, I know I was not a great example of a mother to them, because my way of thinking was so different than it is now. So when we're having conversations now, my talk is different. My walk is different. Everything is different than what it used to be. Ungodly soul ties cause irrational thinking. Honey, us ungodly soul ties will have you doing some stuff that you just in your mind never would have thought you would have done. You stay in things way longer than what you ever should have stayed in. People do things to you and you constantly go back, and then some people say, well, I don't understand why she keeps going back, or why he keeps going back to her, because they're tied together. And until you break those soul ties, that cycle just keeps going on and on and on and on. So when it came to the question, would I prefer a soulmate or a life partner, I was like, I do not want a soulmate. No, thank you. You know, I want what God says He has for me. I don't want my soul to be just tied to anybody. Because, like I said, you can come across somebody that you think is your soulmate, and they are there on assignment, and they are coming to just turn your life upside down. Whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, they're coming to. Yes, you need a spiritual divorce from that person. And I think that we need to be talking about it more. We need to be sharing our life experiences more. I see too much with young people these days, and some of it is heart wrenching. It is very, very, very heart wrenching. Some of the things that I have witnessed, sometimes I sit here and I look out my window, and some of the stuff I see just looking out my window, it really tears my soul apart. I mean, my spirit, I watched something happen outside my window a couple weeks ago that literally had me in my living room bawling in tears for this young lady. And I sat and I talked to God, and I was like, if this is what our young women are being reduced to, there has to be something that we need to be doing that we're not doing. Because what I saw was just, I couldn't believe what I saw. And it hurt my heart, because I had seen this young lady time and time again. Beautiful young lady, always dressed, and I'm thinking, oh, this young lady has it together. She just loves herself. And then I realized that there is no way possible, if she allowed what I saw, she can't love herself. Yes, ungodly soul ties between molestation of children, rape, sexual assault. I mean, there's just so many ways. It does not just have to be them making a conscious choice to say, you know what, I'm going to go have sex. There are things that happens to children that causes ungodly soul ties. And those things, that thing goes with them from a childhood to adulthood. And sometimes they never talk about it. They never tell anybody. It's never discussed. And then later on, you have someone who is walking around here addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, addicted to sex. Yes. And they have all these addictions that stem from that ungodly soul ties. Yeah, so I mean, some of the things that I see is just, it literally breaks my heart. It's like God that day allowed me to feel something that I had never felt before, and I wept all day, to the point that, yes, it's heartbreaking, to the point that I had to call one of my sisters when she came to pick me up that next day for us to go to the gym. I couldn't even go inside to work out until I had to release that thing because it was so heavy on me. And she prayed with me, and I mean, I wept even as I was telling her about it. The tears were flowing down my face. And I think it hurt me even more because I know the place that God brought me from. And coming from that hurt, broken place, I tell people all the time, you can look at women and think they have it together. They dress nice, they look good, they walking around with their head ups like they have the best self-esteem. But on the inside, there is a little girl on the inside who is dying to be released from all the pain and the hurt and the brokenness, where that woman just cannot heal because that little girl on the inside is still fighting to be healed. So we have to just step up. Yeah, we can pray, but there's other things that we can do too besides pray. And that's my whole point that I'm trying to make. I love prayer and I know that we can pray, but I'm looking at my community and I pray. I go in my closet, I have my little sticky notes and I pray, but I have started going out in my community and doing things, because not only am I going to pray, but I have come to stand and do something in my community that is something for these young ladies, so that they know whatever they're going through, you're not going through it by yourself. There's somebody who has been there and God has delivered them to the other side. We have to do more than just pray. We have to step outside these four walls. We got to start going into our communities. We have got to start snatching our children back. Not just the children that live in your home, but the children that are friends with your children, the children that are walking around in your communities. We have got to do more. We got to take action. We got to take action. We just have to. Because if we don't take action and we don't show them something different, then they are going to be lost forever. And I don't want to be standing before God and Him look at me as if I have their blood on my hands, when I know He gave me something on the inside of me to release out to them. So I can't just sit back and say, don't get me wrong. Yes, we do have to pray, but we have got to take action when it comes to our children. I talk to my children's friends too. My house used to be the community house. On the weekends and in the summertime, all the kids would come stay with me. Sometimes I'd be looking at them like, God, I wish y'all would go home. Do y'all do you know where your house is? But it made me feel good that they all wanted to be in my home, because when they were there, they felt comfortable with me. They felt comfortable enough to have conversations with me. So at that point, I knew then that God was doing something in me, and it was going to be bigger than anything I ever thought it would be. So we have too many platforms. We have too many things that we can be doing out in our communities, but we have got to take action. Because if we don't take action, as believers, if we're not taking action, you can believe that the enemy is doing everything he can to steal, kill, and destroy our children. Yes. And that's what we need to be doing. We have to talk to them. We have to talk to them. We have to show them something different. If we're not showing them anything different, if we're not talking to them and giving them godly advice, then what are we doing as believers? Let me just say this. Nothing gets under my skin worse than to hear somebody say, "Oh, I love the Lord. I'm living for the Lord." Well, when you're living for the Lord and you're not doing anything out here in your community, then I just need you to be quiet and not even have a conversation with me. That's just how I feel. Many people may not be ready to know God, but that's not going to stop me from talking about it. That's not going to stop me from taking action, because one thing that I have found, that if you put forth an effort to do something in your community, the people that need to be there at that moment will be the ones that show up. I had an event. Yes, real work outside the four walls. I had an event and it wasn't packed, but the ladies that showed up, it was very intimate. And I was glad it was intimate because they were shy, they were introvert, they were a little standoffish. But as we started rolling, these ladies opened up and they let go of some things that one in that those couple of hours that they probably would not have been able to let go of. But just think, if I had not took action and I had a cancel, or I would have said I don't want to do this event, then where would that have left those ladies that needed what I had on that day? So, they may not be ready for it, but the people that need to be where you are, God will place them where they need to be. So I can't sit back and not do anything. As long as I have Facebook, Periscope, I can get a building and do something, I'm going to do it. Those that don't want to be there, they're not going to be there. But those that need to be there at that given moment will absolutely be exactly where God needs them to be at that given time. So we can't sit back and not do stuff because we're afraid that people aren't going to show up. We can't sit back and not do anything. Yes, we can't sit back and not do anything with the thought process that, well, people aren't ready. Because if we do that, then we'll never accomplish anything. If I throw an event and only one person shows up, then that's the soul that needed to be there on that particular day. And I have accomplished exactly what God told me to do. So that's the kind of mindset we have to have now. We got to stop thinking about numbers, how many people are showing up to things. Everybody wants their name to be highlighted. Everybody wants to have a packed house and a full house here, and they want 1,000 followers and they want 500 likes, and it ain't about that. If you get one person, then you have done something for that day. It ain't about making you famous. It ain't about making your name famous. It's about that soul that needs to be connected to God. So if you just get that one, you have accomplished something great. So we've got to stop. Yeah, it's not numbers. It is definitely not numbers. It is all about helping a person get past where they are. The two, I had two ladies there who, one, she was just completely stuck. By the time we were finished, she was hyped about where her future was going. She inboxed me days later. Yes, and I'm one of those people where I know that I'm not called to the pulpit. God has called me to go places where other people don't want to go. I can go down to the corner and sit with the drug addicts and the alcoholics and fit right in, and they gonna listen to me. You know why? Because I've been where they are, and now I'm here. I can relate to them. But other people may look at them and be like, "Oh, I'm not going down there with them." And that's the thing that really bugs me. Yes, I mean we have definitely got to do. We've got to do better. We've got to do more. I mean, there's so much work out here to be done, and if we get caught up on numbers and all this other foolishness, we have we have pretty much just said, "Oh, I love Christ, but I don't want to put in no work." And I don't understand how you can say you're living a life to please Christ, but you're worried about what somebody looks like, or you're worried about the fact that they are selling themselves, or that they do drugs, or that they're alcoholics. Why are you worried about that? You don't want to talk to them because of that. So where's your love? Where's the love of Christ if you can't go down in the gutter and talk to somebody? We're so stuck on tradition and religion that we have absolutely xed out relationship. People don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. You know, you rather go in church with your fancy hats on and your suits instead of going out in your community when you got a community. Something I don't understand, when there's a church on every single corner almost, you can turn every corner and see a church, but you got a community who is dying to heroin, meth, cocaine. What are we doing as believers? What are we doing as believers? Because it is obvious to me that we are not doing what we're supposed to. Judging, yes. And that is just not what we are called to do. Well, I know this scope kind of went to the left because we were supposed to be talking about soulmates versus life partners, but but that's okay. You know, I take my scopes wherever I feel like the Lord is leading me. And today that was we veered off there, but you know, I'm good with that. But that was my purpose for coming on, was to talk about soulmates versus life partners. Thanks, Yolanda. I was like, man, I did it again. Every time I come on and start talking about something, my discussion kind of goes left field, but that's okay. Because evidently I'm always touching on something that the Lord wants me to touch on, but I just, you know, we really have to do better. Yeah, well, it is. And you know, we got to do better. We have to do better. I just seeing the kids and just looking around, and not just our youth, but even some of the adults in my community, is just like, you know, if we don't do something, then who's going to do it? Because so many people have given up on them that they literally have given up on themselves. Oh, absolutely. But if we're not going out here and we're not doing anything, we're not going to reach the parents. I believe that we need to reach the parents as well too, Yolanda. But that's where it comes in, people coming in together. It goes from the parents to the children. And I think that that's where it comes in, people collaborating together and doing events in the communities, you know. We have gotten so far away from that. I mean, I remember growing up, especially in the summertime, there was always something in the community going on. And we just don't have that anymore. It's like we have said, churches used to do things all the time. They would get together with other churches, and it was always something. Transport, yeah, spirits transport from, yes, it does. But now we don't have that anymore. We don't. Kids are, it's like video games, TVs, and computers are raising our children. Sad but true. And I just had this conversation with my daughter the other day. I'm like, you need to limit my grandson on his time on his tablet. It is very spiritual and not physical. Everything that I see, and I'm to a point in life now where when things are going on around me or things are going on in my own life, a lot of times we reflect on what we see in the natural, but I always understand that everything that I see in the natural that's going on in the physical is happening in the spirit realm. So I don't, when stuff happens, I try not to equate what I see in the natural and just automatically go to there's got to be something going on in the spirit realm. So I just wanted to say that we as believers, as communities, we have to have a heart for the community. I am actually in North Carolina, New Orleans. Ooh, yes, I've always wanted to go there. I am in North Carolina. I lived in Raleigh, but now I'm back home in a little small community, and just being home and looking around and seeing some of the different things that I'm seeing. I'm just like there's something that we have to be doing. We got to do something different because where I am now is so drug infested, and every time I turn around, I'm on the news. There's some big Operation Drug Bust. You know, it's always he is opening my eyes, Yolanda. I mean, where he has me right now, I never thought I would be. You can definitely find me on Facebook. If you just look up Christina Saunders on Facebook, you can find me. Or you can email me at Christina lifecoach37 at gmail.com. We he's really opening my eyes to a lot of things. I'm gonna repeat that email again. It's Christina with a C, life coach 37 at gmail.com. I truly believe it because every time I try to leave, Yolanda, every time I try to move, something happens. I was packed up getting ready to move back to Raleigh, and then my mom got sick and I had to stay. So now I'm just like, okay, Lord, I hear you. I'm supposed to just stay here for right now. So, okay, I got it. So I'm here right now, and He is revealing things to me. And sometimes I'm like, Lord, I just really did not want to see that. Why did you have to give that to me? But I know that everything He does, everything that He allows is for a reason. And so now when I see stuff and things happen, my prayer is show me what to do. You direct me on how you want me to move. Because I don't want to move out of alignment with Him anymore. Thanks for joining in, Kung Fu Mama. So now I'm at a place where I'm trying to put things together and do some events here in the area that I'm in. I just connected with a nonprofit here for. Hi, I just connected here in New Bern to a nonprofit. They work with human trafficking, and we are actually working on having an event called No Longer Bound in the summer. So right now, that's what we're working on, and I'm really excited about it. I met this young lady through Bible study, and I've been going there. And I asked her if we could link together to do something here in the community. And she said, "Well, I'd be more than happy to if you do one thing for me." And I was like, "What's that?" She said, "I would like for you to come and mentor some of the ladies that we work with that we bring into the safe house for human trafficking." So I'm very, very excited about what God is doing in my life right now. I'm excited about the opportunities that He's opened up for me to make a difference in my community. And I think that that's what it's all about. We have to be open. No, I did not want to stay here, but this is where He has me. So I have to learn to, I don't want to say be content where I am. I have to learn to grow where I am. And I think that He's doing that right now. So the different platforms that I have right now going on, I'm just excited about what God is doing and what He's showing me. This is huge for me because I just know that all the things He allowed me to come through, almost losing my life more than once. He didn't save me for me not to come back here and have an impact on the lives that are around me. So, when we go out every day, we need to be asking God to show us what He wants us to do. Bring that person across our paths that we can make a difference in their lives. That should be what we're asking Him, not asking Him for, you know, I haven't worked since almost 2014, except for like 4 months, but He's been providing for me. He's just been doing what I need Him to do. Do I have everything I want? No, but I have absolutely everything that I need. I have what I need. And I know that if I continue to do what He's telling me to do, that everything else will fall into place. So we just got to get to a place where it's not about us. My story is not about me. My story was to help someone else. And now He's giving me a platform to use my story to help save someone else. So I just want to say I am glad that you guys jumped in on with me early tonight. I am usually on every Monday night at 7:30, but I have a class coming up at 8, so I had to go ahead and get in early tonight. But I will be back next Monday. Not sure what the subject is going to be next Monday. I usually find out when I post questions in my Facebook private group, and I just take it from there. So thank you guys for joining in. Thank you for inviting your followers. Thank you for the hearts. And thank you for the great conversation that we had tonight. Be blessed and have a great week. Love you guys. Bye. And this happens every time I try to hang up. This thing will not cut off.